And I will say this, and I'm gonna catch a lot of hate for this. I know it, I'm sitting here chewing on my tongue, not even wanting to say it. But I have owned many Microtechs. I've bought customs. I've bought their regular line, all the way from the Vero Beach days up until just this past year. And I'm telling you, this rivals any Microtech I have handled to date. Now, yeah, the customs, they have a little bit of a flair to them that this will not have, but I'm talking production Microtechs. But I'll tell you, I had a custom Microtech in my hand the other day that was one of those prototypes of the new Halos. The inside of it looked like somebody was chewing on it. I mean, it was embarrassing. It's not something that I would have thought Microtech would have put out. This, I've worked on a lot of these knives, man. I've opened them up. I've played around with them. I've taken broken ones, made them work again. I have a lot of experience tearing these things down and putting them back together. And I am telling you, these rival anything Microtech has done in the last 10 years. Word is Microtech got some new machinery, and I have seen their grinds, and their machining has seemed to improve. But I'm telling you, this is better than the previous Microtechs. I can't speak to the brand new ones that are just coming out now, but these clones, put it this way, I'm never going to buy another Microtech again. Especially if this company keeps on going with the way that they've been going and making their own designs. There's absolutely no reason. But enough about the introduction. We're already going on 5 minutes, and I'm sure you guys are getting mad and going, well, let me see the knife. Let's start with the blue one. If you take a look at this, the machining, the anodizing, the screws, the button, the top is a little mismatched because I had it off and I did not line it up properly before I screwed it down. But I'm telling you, look how clean that machining is. Now you might be seeing a slight color variance between the top and the body of the knife. That's actually pretty normal for these kinds of knives when you're doing anodized colors. Every single Microtech I've had with a anodized finish, unless if it was black, the color never is perfect from the top to the body. But go ahead and check out that other video that I did of these. You can see the internals. I promise you, the internals are machined just as beautiful as the outside. The screws, everything about this is an upgrade from the Halos. The Halos impressed the hell out of me. These are just on a whole new level. What you're looking at is about a 4-inch blade of S35VN steel. And I actually believe it's S35VN. If you look at the finish on this knife, it took an extremely nice polished satin finish. Now, I can't guarantee that it's S35VN, but I do know China is using that steel now. It's been being used in a lot of knives from Custom Knife Factory, Riyadi, Reich Knives uses it. Who else has got their hands on it? Kaiser. So they have access to that alloy. And I don't know if any of you have any of the Halos that were labeled as D2, or some people were saying it was 9CR18 MOV. When you would look at the satin grind, you could see a little bit of alloy banding that would go down the length of the satin grind. And that really did kind of clue you into it being a D2 type steel. This, however, does not have those striations going through the grind. So in any sense, I would think this is an upgrade. And I really don't think they're going to try to lie about the blade steel anymore. I mean, we're seeing a lot of things changing in China. And you might be saying, well, they're cloning knives, so if they're going to lie and say that something's, a real knife from a real brand, well, what makes you think they won't lie about the steel? Well, something I'm noticing in Chinese knives is that they're trying to get away from doing clones. They're doing clones because that's what's familiar, that's what people buy. But this is not an exact replica of a combat Troodon. And it's certainly not a copy of a current combat Troodon. This is more like a mishmash of various styles from, the body of the knife is from the original run of combat Troodons. The tri-wing screws are from like the newest combat Troodons. The blade itself is more of like a hinderer type grind rather than anything Microtech's done. But then you got the blood groove that is very Microtech-esque. But let's put it this way. Oh yeah, no logos. So they're doing something. They're making an attempt to distance themselves from the clones. And we've been seeing that with other brands like Bat Knives with their Paladin series. They're really trying to do their own thing, but I'm thinking it's just a slow process. They don't want to go fully into their own designs because they need something to pay the bills while they do their design work, and these are what's selling right now. But I do think this is enough of a departure from Microtech that you really can't get too mad at them, especially when they're doing the old style combat Troodon handle instead of the new style with the those big grooves that they put in the top and back. But just look at that. That is beautiful. The anodizing, beautiful. The milling is just so clean. Even the buttons on those Scarab clones weren't perfect. I mean, they did the job, but they were a little wonky in places. This, I mean, not just the fact of it being machined perfectly, but the finish. These are a lot more along the lines of a real Microtech. The finish quality on the blade, the hardware, as well as the handle, is just above and beyond anything I've seen come out of China, especially in automatic knives. The action is superb. They're fast, they're smooth. I have not had any misfire. Well, I can't say that. I did have one misfire today, and that was when I first pulled it out of the box. It was really cold, and it, when you have the really extreme temperatures, the tolerances on these knives, that can wreak havoc on the action. But I fired it a couple times, and it has not given me any issues since. I did take both knives apart because when they first came, they both had a little bit of spring sing in them, which is the sound that you hear when the spring vibrates against the internal components, and it kind of makes that zing noise. It drives me nuts, so anytime I get one of these, I always open them up, put a little dab of grease right in the center of the slide. It does not attract dirt. It's encased between the slide and the handle top. It's not, in fact, Microtech has adopted that method of deadening the noise on their knives, and so it's good enough for Microtech. It's good enough for me. Pocket clip, I'm not exactly sure what it's made out of. It could be titanium, could be steel. I don't really care what it's made out of. I just really care that the finish is amazing and everything is just top notch. I can't stress enough how beautiful these knives are in person. The orange one is by far my favorite. I have a feeling this one's going to get put away and not used much. I really hate the color blue, but that's why I won't have a problem using it. Again, look at that blade grind. Look at the satin finish. It's satin but almost polished. Just absolutely beautiful. Everything about these is just on a whole new level from the Halos. The Halos were fine. They were great. I loved them. I still love it. But these, Microtech should be shaking in their boots right now. And really, I really wish that Chinese knives of this type could have a stronger presence in the USA, because I think we all deserve to get a better knife at a better price. And that's what you're seeing here. A better knife at a better price. Now, of course, I have to use one of these for a while to see if, what the edge retention is like and, how they hold up over time. But I've been using my Scarabs and my Halos clones for a while, and I have not had one issue. I'm sorry this video is mostly just me gushing about the quality, but there's nothing... I'm looking for things to tell you that are wrong with the knife, and I can't find any. And these are, of course, CNC'd aluminum. That is not paint that you're seeing. That is anodizing. The screws are just amazingly machined. I mean, you take a look at the other video that I have. It's worse quality than this. And this one isn't even that good quality, but trust me, just take a look at that video and just look at the inside of this knife and look at the way the screws are machined. I mean, there's not even anodizing missing around the screw holes that the screws go into. It's just their level of precision has just been... It's just I'm at a loss for words. I'm sorry that I'm tripping over my own tongue here, but